Welcome to the MS&Me Radio Network. The broadcast shows are for informational and entertainment purposes only. They are not designed to provide listeners with specific personal, medical, or counseling advice. Individuals with a medical issue should always consult their healthcare provider. MS&Me is not responsible for content of individual shows. The views expressed by show hosts or the guests are their own. Enjoy the show.
Hey y'all, and welcome to Straight Up with MS and all its crazy little circles here on MS&Me Radio, brought to you by the MS Global Support Network. I'm your host. My name's Patty Long, and you can find me on Twitter at MSNIT4Life, and I spell that MSENIT, the number 4, LIFE. I want to start off with an apology to you guys, my listeners, the few of you. I don't know. I have no idea how many people listen to this show. I know of 2 personally, so and sometimes a third. So, anyways, we don't have that kind of data, and I'm not on Facebook. Not really. I mean, every now and then I pop in and out, but I'm not there enough to say I'm on Facebook at all. And you'd never find me anyways. So, too many people with my name, you know. So, in any case, you know, I do want to apologize for the reruns. I guess I just needed a couple of weeks off. We've had some glitches, you know. I went to the UK and Google was not my friend. Google said, somebody must have stolen your computer. Somebody must have stolen your credentials because you are not where you're supposed to be. Who would have thought you'd need to put in a travel notice with Google? So I only managed to get one show over here, and that took a lot of doing to have it uploaded for you guys to hear. And then after I got back, I had the mess of trying to get my Google reconnected, which I finally did. And then there was some mix-ups between me and the station manager and timing that kind of changed, even though I did not realize it because I'm not on Facebook. So between all of these things, there's been some goof ups, and I take, you know, full responsibility. It is my show. So I just screwed up. So then I decided last week that, you know, I'm having this really crappy week because we have crappy weeks, you know. That's kind of what MS does. It circles around. So, you know, you take the good and the bad and the in-betweens, and you try your best to grin and bear it and smile through it, and hopefully you're around people who, when you smile through it, they smile through it with you. And, you know, it's just been tough these past few weeks. It just has. I have no particular reason other than getting home and my vacation that was so amazing, and being in England, which was so amazing, that coming to an end, and being back in the same old, and trying to, you know, give my life a kickstart, if you will. So, I'm working on it, though. I am. But we have these bad weeks. And it's because of people who are true friends of mine, who bring me up, lift me up. They're not putting me down. They, you know, they don't cause me any pain. And, you know, I call this decluttering your life, okay? If you declutter your life, then it becomes a better life. Just like if you declutter your house looks nicer, it looks better, it's easier to live in, you know. So we want to try and get rid of the clutter in our life. And you know, so if it doesn't lift me up, then you know what, I need to let it go. And if it doesn't bring me joy, then I need to leave it alone. You know, it's simplifying, but it's simplifying by getting rid of everything that is ugly in your life, everything that is negative in your life. And it simplifies your life in that respect, and it leaves you feeling much better in so many ways, because stress just, I mean, you know, my symptoms can nearly disappear to those who don't really know what they're looking at, and be very hidden. And then stress comes along and forget it. You know, everything is right out there in the open. So I was dizzy so bad that, you know, I was bouncing off the walls for 3 days. I lost my voice. Yes, people, I lost my voice. Me, no voice. Can you imagine? And the stuttering was like really, really intense. So, but I do have those people in my life who are great friends and who understand and who help me to laugh, who help bring joy instead of suck it up and take it away. You know, they help me laugh, they help me smile. And most of these people I have met at pool, because I grew up shooting pool. It's just sort of what I did, you know. I grew up and in the outskirts of Atlanta. It's now inside Atlanta. You know, I mean, Atlanta has just grown so much since I was a kid. But anyways, we had a pool table. So I tell people I was like knee high to the pool table. I could just barely see over the top of it when I started playing with the pool balls, and just playing with the balls because I wasn't allowed to use a stick. I was too little. I would damage the table. So I played with the pool balls, and then when I got bigger, I used a little junior cue, which was our corner cue, because we had one tight corner and you couldn't put a full-size cue stick there and shoot. But you could with this junior cue. So that's the cue stick that I grew up on. And then as I got older, I got my own. And then when I got older still, I was at pool halls, because, you know, now I'm 18 and allowed in. So it was something that was really fun to do way back when. And I really enjoyed it. And then my kids were born, and I quit going anywhere like that because I had these little responsibilities, these little people that I needed to take care of. And I say little responsibilities, but it was such a joy raising them, that, and being with them and spending all that time with them, that no matter what, it was a joyful experience. And I need that joy in my life. And my children are all grown, and my daughter and her children are, for this year, living in Massachusetts, and possibly longer and possibly not, we don't know yet. But pool, getting back to that, was a place that I could find that joy. It was a place that I could do something that I've always loved, and always, you know, had a good time talking junk around the table, and you know, meeting everybody and all of this. And so I've met these fantastic people, And I've been shooting pool again for a couple of years. And, it took me over a year to remember, a third of them's name. But you know what? They all understood. And they love me regardless. They don't question the things. They don't tell me, "Oh man, are you drinking tonight?" They don't say any of that. So, I don't get those smart alecky things. But I do get help. And, that is really awesome. So a couple weeks ago, I went to my Sunday 8-ball match. And when I first walked in, it was pretty empty in there because it was tourney time. And we had made it to the tournaments. Yay! But the place was pretty much empty and the air conditioning was on. And it really wasn't that very hot outside. It looked like it was going to rain. And then it did. And it just got colder and colder and colder the longer the air conditioner was on. So I started having muscle spasms. And I'm twitching and going this way and that way and getting colder and colder. And so my captain looked at me and he's like, "You're our 5th player. Are you going to be able to play today?" And I said, "Yeah, I'll play. And I went out to the car and I got a jacket and I went back in. I also got my wraps. I already had my knee wrapped when I got there because it'd been acting up and being all goofy and wanting to go out to the side or into the middle instead of straight. And that I don't wrap it tight, but I just kind of give it a little extra support. I use like I use an It Works wrap, but it sticks to itself. So you don't have to put gobs of it on, or anything and make it all rigid. You just put a little bit to give a little extra support. So I brought that in too. And we wrapped my arm because the same thing was happening in my right arm, and you kind of need your right arm to go straight if you're going to shoot pool. And so I sat there all bundled up and all wrapped up in this green, fluorescent green It Works wraps. And the only things that were said to me is, "Are you doing okay? Is there anything I can get you?" And, "Oh my gosh, did you see him make that? Did you you see that shot?" I mean, and they kept me included even though they knew that my response was going to be so slow it wouldn't make any sense because I'd be responding to something they had said, a minute earlier. And I just wasn't keeping up. And then my back started going too because, again, these muscle spasms, they can happen anywhere. And I am what they call temperature change intolerant, which meant that going from the environment that I was used to into this very cold, damp, cold room was just more than my body could handle. And so it just flipped out. Now, being that I'm temperature change intolerant means I get to have the fun side on the heat issues as well, where the heat can make you want to, or make you think you're going to pass out. It can cause all kinds of weird things. It has caused me most recently to go into a seizure-like event. I don't believe it was a seizure, and because I was fully aware of everything going on. But I've been instructed by my doc, and I will listen to him, that if it happens again, to get my butt to a hospital, go by ambulance, and all of this stuff, because he said the only way to tell is if they test you right then. So anyways, hopefully I never do that again. I still think it was simply walking in somewhere that was 15 degrees hotter and again muggy than what it was outside where I was accustomed to being. Which I know that sounds weird, but it was the time of the year it was, and we've had the weirdest weather anyways. But yeah, so I'm getting all these muscle spasms. And when I started getting them in my back, the best thing I can do is take my medication. Because if I don't take the medication, then the muscle spasms continue. If the muscle spasms continue, then I will have an injury from the muscle spasms. So as soon as it hit my back, I said, y'all, I got to take something for this, and I was brought a drink and everything and some food because I said I'd want to eat something too or else, because I hadn't eaten. And, it's not like I was asking them to pay for it or anything, and I gave them the money, but they brought me that, and then somebody brought me the food. And of course, this is 5 people each time we play. There's 5 of us who go up and play our match, and the better the player, the more matches it takes to win. So these are long days. And I walked around some, and the medicine worked, so that had stopped. And my captain, he looked at me, he said, "Well, Patty, you ready?" He said, "I've been saving up the best for last." And I just looked at him and laughed. And he said, no matter whether you win or lose, you're going to give more than your 100%. He said, I got to give you credit for that. You always give it your all. And you have done it every time with a smile on your face and enjoying it. And I'm like, yep, if I'm not going to have fun, why do it? Now, this was a really close race between our team and the opposing team. And even though I didn't lose my match, I didn't win by a skunk, and I had to win by a skunk for us to beat the other team. So my winning 2-1 still let them win the match. Or win the tournament. So that knocked us out, and I felt really bad. But again, I wasn't the only person on the team. You're part of a team, and if it came down to 1 point, which is what it came down to, was just 1 point, then, that wasn't just me. There was other people involved here. So he's like, don't feel bad. If we had been in a little better position, we would have won. We would have beat them. We would have tied, And there's a million different ways it could have gone, and you shouldn't feel bad. And that's the sort of people they are. And I said, well, I'm not going to really feel bad. But I feel bad because I made a bad decision in there. And I know when I made it. And I knew I made it when I made it. And I did it anyways, So, but they're super good to me. Both at 8-ball and 9-ball. And that's the sort of people we want in our life. And we also want to know what is going on with us when something starts to go haywire. So I knew, for example, when the spasm started, that it was from the cold. I knew, for example, when I walked around and it didn't warm my muscles up and make it any better, I better go get a jacket. I knew, for example, when my arm wasn't wanting to bend right and was wanting to flop, to get it wrapped. I knew from experience that when my back started spazzing, that because it's on that sciatic nerve, that it will injure that nerve fairly quickly if I do not take the medication. And I don't take it all the time. It's an emergency med. That's what I call it, my emergency med. And that's what it's for. And if taking that emergency med all by itself doesn't do it, then I have a second medication that I take with it. And, there you go. And, I don't get drunk or high or messed up on it. I still played a really good game of pool. And this was maybe 40 minutes after I took it. So I did really well. I just, got beat. Oh well. Well, I didn't really get beat, but I didn't win every game out of the 3 that we played. So, it happens. But know what your triggers are. Figure out your triggers. Find people that are going to be nice, that are going to help you out, that aren't going to look at you like you're a fool because your leg's going all over the place, twitching, like and find people that are compassionate, who have empathy, who notice and learn instead of notice and make fun. And just keep yourself surrounded by these good people, and your life will become simpler. And as it becomes simpler, you will become happier, and symptoms will be less frequent because you're no longer stressed out all the time. Now, I've got a lot of work to do on that no longer stressed out all the time thing. I came home to quite a bit of stress. And that's what I have been battling. Because of the stress, it has made many things go a little crazier than they usually do. So, it's something to think about, though. That stress in your life. And where is that stress coming from? Is it coming from being at home? Is it coming from work? Is it coming from the guy next door? Is it coming from somebody who pretends they're your friend but they're not? Is it coming from someone you've known your whole entire life? Who is it coming from? Where is it coming from? What can you do to declutter your life so that it is not so stressful? This is something that I think is super, super important, and I'm in that process of once again decluttering everything in my life, including my house, and making everything better. And my time is nearly up, so I'm sort of getting my voice back. Maybe not entirely. I'm still agitated, aggravated, just really irritated with everything in general, and that tells me this is an MS, stress-related sort of thing. So until next time, y'all, I want y'all to have a wonderful, wonderful week. I love everybody for listening. That is so awesome. Please reach out and let me know you listen, and then I'll know I have more than 2 people out there who listen to my show. So think about those things, though, because getting rid of those stressors really does make your MS. So until next week, smile big, smile often, laugh a lot, and most importantly, love yourself. Bye.